We're not allowed to start early. This is a Jewish institution, so we just need a little bit more background music. Go ahead. Thank you, Tom. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to the temple. This weekend we celebrate Pride Shabbat, honoring the LGBTQ community and sharing in the journey towards inclusion and justice for us all. Our service will be led from Mishkan Tefillah for Shabbat. You found one at your chair, I hope, or you might have one at home if you're following along on the live stream. But if not, you can find a digital copy in the description of our YouTube channel. Or you may simply want to sit back, enjoy, and let the songs and prayers seep into your soul. Our opening song, appropriately enough for Pride Shabbat, is Hine Ma Tov U'ma Na'im Shevet Amim Gam Yachad, how good it is and how wondrous when a community can gather as one.
Shevet amim gam yachad, hinei ma tov u'manayim. Shevet amim gam yachad, hinei ma tov, ya la 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 la. Hinei ma tov, ya la 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 la. Hinei ma tov u'manayim, ya la la. Shevet amim gam yachad, hinei ma tov u'manayim. Shevet amim gam yachad, hinei ma tov u'manayim. Shevet amim gam yachad.
It's now my pleasure to invite via Zoom Bonnie McCullough, Ted Fleischaker, and Chava Penner-Johnson to join us from their homes to ours in the leading of candles and Kiddush. The congregation would please rise and turn to page 2.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lohadlik ner shel Shabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai, O God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu
Baruch atah Adonai,
haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lihadlik ner, lihadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Borei Peri Hagafen. Blessed art thou, O Lord our God, King of the universe, who commanded us to bring forth the fruit of the vine.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Borei Peri Hagafen. Amen.
Bonnie, if you'll lead us in the
Baruch
Shechianu.
atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Shehekiyanu the Kiyamanu, the Higayanu, Lazman Hazeh. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of all, who has kept us alive, sustained us, and brought us to this season.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
Please be seated. Thank you, Bonnie and Chava and Ted and I. We continue now with a special prayer for Pride Shabbat. As the sun sinks and the colors of day turn towards evening, we offer a blessing for the twilight. For twilight is neither day nor night, but in between. We are all twilight people. We can never be fully labeled or defined. We are many identities and loves, many genders and none. We are in between roles, at the intersection of histories, or between place and place. We are crisscross paths of memory and destination, streaks of light swirled together. We are neither day nor night. We are both, neither, and all. May the sacred in-between of this twilight suspend our certainties, soften our judgments, and widen our vision. May this in-between light illumine our way to the God who transcends all categories and definitions. May the in-between people we have come to pray to be lifted up into this twilight. We cannot always define. We can always say a blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim. Blessed are you, God of all, who brings on evening and twilight. We continue on page 20 as we welcome the Sabbath bride, Lecha Dodi. Rise now for the Baruch Hu on page 28. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorach, Baruch Adonai Hamvorach L'olam Va'ed. Praise Adonai, to whom praise is due forever. Praise be Adonai, to whom praise is due now and forever.
Baruch hu et
Page 31. This is an hour of change. Within it we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai, ha'ma'ariv aravim. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol, all these your Torah gives to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works, the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Blessed is God's glorious majesty forever and ever.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed.
Please be seated. We continue with Love Your God.
Love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. And these words which I command you on this day shall be in your heart, shall be in your heart. Teach them faithfully unto your children. Speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise. Bind them for a sign upon your hand, that they may be a symbol before your eyes. Write them on the doorposts of your house, and upon your gates, and upon your gates. Teach them faithfully unto your children. Speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise, and when you rise.
Page 39. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there's no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together.
Mi kamocha vailim Adonai.
join me as we read together on page 43. Give us a place to rest, Adonai our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei Seacat shalom, aleinu va'al kol amo Yisrael, va'al Yerushalayim.
ישמחו במלכותך, שמרי 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 שבת, תקורא עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שמרי 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 שבת, תקורא עונג שבת. Mikarishi shivi Shabbat, kulom yisiu v'tangu mituvecha Shabbat. Yismechu v'malchutecha, shamri 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 Shabbat, tikore anech Shabbat. Yismechu v'malchutecha, shamri 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 Shabbat, tikore anech Shabbat. V'hashvi ratzita bo v'gitosh Shabbat. Chimdot yomim, oto karata Shabbat. Yismechu b'malchutecha, shamri 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 Shabbat, tikore anech Shabbat. Yismechu b'malchutecha, shamri 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 Shabbat, tikore anech Shabbat. Zehi למעשה בראשית שבת. למעשה בראשית שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שמרי 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 Shabbat, תקורא עונג Shabbat. ישמחו במלכותך, שמרי 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 Shabbat, תקורא עונג Shabbat.
Please turn to page 45. We are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time. We rise for the tefillah, page 46.
Adonai sifatai tivtah ufi agiti hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el, Hagadol, Hagibor, v'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, v'Konei Hakol, v'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'Mevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, L'man Shemo B'Ahava, Melech Ozer Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham v'Ezrat Sarah. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, God of our fathers and our mothers, God of Abraham, God of Isaac, and God of Jacob, God of Sarah, God of Rebekah, God of Rachel, and God of Leah, the great, mighty, and awesome God, transcendent God, who bestows loving kindness, creates everything out of love, remembers the love of our fathers and mothers, and brings redemption to their children's children for the sake of the divine name. Sovereign, deliverer, helper, and shield, blessed are you, Adonai, Sarah's helper, Abraham's shield. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham v'Ezrat Sarah. You are forever mighty, Adonai, you give life to all. You rain dew upon us. You sustain life through love, giving life to all. Through great compassion, supporting the fallen, healing the sick, freeing the captive, keeping faith for those who sleep in the dust. Who is like you, source of mighty acts? Who resembles you, a sovereign who gives and takes life, causing a deliverance to spring up and faithfully giving life to all? Blessed are you, Adonai, who gives life to all. Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol. You are holy. Your name is holy. And those who are holy praise you every day. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Please be seated. We turn to our prayer for peace, which can be found on page 61. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul. And may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamvarech et amo Yisrael, b'shalom. Please take a moment for silent prayer. Please turn to page 253, where you'll find words of Misha Berlow, of healing and of hope, which we ask on this Pride Shabbat for us all, and for our nation, and for all those in need of healing, that we might together build a world of peace and justice for us all. Please join us in these words of Misha Berlow as we pray to be the hands and the hearts that can build that world together. Now my honor to introduce our Pride speaker for this evening, Julie Robinson. We like your Pride background. Julie is the Vice President of the Tri-State Alliance and the Director of its LGBTQIA Youth Group Services that serves Southwestern Indiana, Northwestern Kentucky, and Southern Illinois. She's been with the Tri-State Alliance Youth Group for 21 years, since she started attending that group when she was 12 years old. Julie works with LGBTQIA homeless youth in Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, and Missouri. She's an outspoken advocate for LGBTQIA youth, and we look forward to hearing her words of challenge and of hope. Julie's joining us from the road. She's in St. Louis, Missouri, and where she's preparing for a Juneteenth program this weekend. Julie, please.
Hi. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my experience working with LGBTQ youth and specifically some of the challenges with LGBTQ youth homelessness. So in the United States, about 4.2 million youth experience homelessness. 40% of those are LGBTQ. So family rejection on the basis of sexual orientation and gender identity obviously can have extreme effects on our precious LGBTQ youth. Many are literally kicked out, disowned, or run away for the sake of their own well-being. Growing up in the rural Midwest, I witnessed this again and again and again. My high school gym teacher got reprimanded for coordinating housing when a student was beaten by his father after being discovered as LGBTQ. And the father is considered a upstanding, community member still to this day. while the, in the closet at the time, LGBTQ teacher got reprimanded simply for networking resources. When I was a teen, as Rabbi mentioned, I discovered an LGBTQ support group. I stumbled upon a newsletter in a bookstore that had a strip of Pride on their counter. And I was wandering around, and I stumbled in the bookstore because being an out LGBTQ youth in the rural was pretty devastating. But that newsletter connected me with the LGBTQ support group, Tri-State Alliance in Evansville, Indiana. But kids from Western Kentucky, Southern Illinois, and Southern Indiana all came to this youth group, and it was ahead of its time, starting in 1998. After the first meeting that I went to, I realized how much impact having the support meant to kids. So after that first meeting, I made it a point to leave early so I could pick up anybody that needed a ride that, along the way or otherwise. And I actually had a teen move in with me, not from the youth group, but he was a childhood friend, and we overheard his mom, after getting a phone call from an anonymous source outing her child, that the father made threats against. So just again and again and again. And now as a 21 plus years later, as the vice president of the organization and a former volunteer before that, we see it all the time. LGBTQ hardships with youth, mental health struggles, lack of support, and especially in the rural parts of the Midwest that we serve, it's pretty severe and reoccurring. Hearing their stories, facilitating the youth group that we do every Saturday night, those stories are still the same. Those hardships are still the same, unfortunately. One of our group's board members, Terry Greer, she moved from Texas to Kentucky after her daughter was subject to a racial hate crime in Texas. She's a strong, disabled, straight woman who, after getting to Kentucky, got her state foster license and became a foster parent. In doing so, she had a teen come out to her, and she just listened and was supportive. And the teen's quality of life changed incredibly. So, and branching out and asking the social worker, are there other LGBTQ kids that need foster homes? And she developed the knowledge of seeing that kids across the state and beyond were being displaced after being discovered as LGBTQ. Terry ended up becoming a foster parent that exclusively took in LGBTQ youth who had been kicked out of their home, and regularly transported them and other nearby youth that needed a ride to the LGBTQ support group. In that, she took them to different meetings and advocated to the schools for discrimination policy protections, and she provided support, entirely supportive household, and it definitely changed the kids dramatically in all the best ways. One person can make an incredible difference. Even just being a generally LGBTQ supportive to a youth can statistically reduce at-risk behaviors by 40%, one person. One way to show your support to youth that you might not know are struggling as LGBTQ youth is announce your support. If you have social media, you can do something simple as a post of, hey, if you're an LGBTQ person, I support and celebrate you. If you're a foster parent or interested in being a foster parent, ask the caseworker about displaced LGBTQ foster kids. If you're a teacher, look up Inclusive Classrooms or contact our organization, Tri-State Alliance, and find out how to make your space as welcoming as possible. There's all kinds of ways, and it can literally change a life and save a life. If you're interested in directly helping the efforts of rural Kentucky and Indiana LGBTQ homeless and at-risk teams, you can volunteer in any capacity with our organization, the Tri-State Alliance. We have volunteers that help in creative and accessible ways from all over Kentucky and beyond. Also, talk to your elected officials. Tell them to support inclusive bills like the Equality Act and more local or statewide legislation that supports LGBTQ protective and inclusive policies. And tell them to vote against anti-LGBTQ legislation. We're seeing more anti-LGBTQ legislation across the country in 2021 than we have ever seen in a lifetime, and there have definitely been LGBTQ target campaigns in the political realm, as all of you probably know. If I'm going to do my plug, if you are financially able, consider donating to us, tsagl.org/donate. I always say we can make a $5 spend like 50, because we're very thrifty, and our volunteer base is a lot of people that have been in the youth support group prior, alumni, or people that have worked and been advocates and activists for LGBTQ inclusive and anti-bias and human rights for the 2 decades plus that I've worked with the group. So we always can use money, and we can make it go to a lot of helpful and useful things. So, and no matter what agency you do support, and whatever way you choose to support them, make sure they have a non-discrimination policy and that they make working with at-risk LGBTQ a priority. I think that's all I have. Thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you for being here, Julie, for sharing your story and the story of the others you've worked with, and for giving us a challenge to work forward. Also, I wanted to invite everyone and remind them that we have programs tomorrow, large programs tomorrow, starting at 9 o'clock with a special Torah study, and then with a service with many people participating together at 10:30. So please join in all of the Pride Weekend events. Thank you again, Julie. And speaking of joining in, our anthem, you should have found at your chair, or will be coming up on the screen. It's for everyone born. Please join us.
For everyone born, a place at the table. For everyone born, clean water and bread. A shelter, a space, a safe place for growing. For everyone born, a star overhead. And God will delight when we are creators of justice and joy, compassion and peace. Yes, God will delight when we are creators of justice and joy. For woman and man, a place at the table, revisiting roles, deciding the share. With wisdom and grace, dividing the power. For woman and man, a system that's fair. and joy, for young and for old, a place at the table, a voice to be heard, a part in the song, the hands of a child in hands that are wrinkled, for young and for old, the right to belong. And God will delight when we are creators of justice and joy, compassion and peace. Yes, God will delight when we are creators of justice and joy, for gay and for straight, a place at the table, a covenant shared, a welcoming space, a rainbow of race and gender and color, for gay and for straight, the cup of grace. And God will delight when we are creators of justice and joy, compassion and peace. Yes, God will delight when we are creators of justice and joy, for everyone born, a place at the table, to live without fear and simply to be, to work, to speak out, to witness and worship, for everyone born, the right to be free. And God will delight when we are creators of justice and joy, compassion and peace. Yes, God will delight when we are creators of justice and joy. Justice and joy.
We rise now for our closing service, the Aleinu, on page 283. Please join me as we read together in the middle of page 283. Let us adore the ever-living God and render praise unto you, who spreads out the heavens and established the earth, whose glory is revealed in the heavens above, and whose greatness is manifest throughout the world. You are our God, there is none else. Please be seated. Let me take this moment to thank everyone who was involved in putting together this service, both here at Temple and the volunteers who have been helping put together Pride Shabbat. Those who led us in candles and kiddush and our Shechianu, Bonnie and Chava and Ted and Ivan, and of course Julie Robbins and our speaker for making this Pride Shabbat beginning so wonderful. Our service continues, and Sisterhood, who's placed wonderful gifts, onegs for your way out the door. We can't have an oneg inside yet, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't have something sweet for Shabbat. We turn now to page 287. May we gain wisdom in our lives, overflowing like a river with understanding, loved, each of us, for the peace we bring to others. May our deeds exceed our speech, and may we never lift up our hand, but to conquer fear and doubt and despair. Rise up like the sun, O God, over all humanity. Cause light to go forth over all the lands between the seas, and light up the universe with the joy of wholeness, of freedom, and of peace.
Bayom ha'ui Adonai echad, u'shema echad.
Page 290. It's a fearful thing to love what death can touch. A fearful thing to love and hope and dream, to be and to lose. A thing for fools this, and a holy thing to love. For your life has lived in me, your laugh once lifted me, your word was gift to me. To remember this painful joy, 'tis a human thing, love, a holy thing, to love what death has touched. This week in our congregation, we remember particularly the names of John A. Danella, Shirley Tanchester Reese, Harry Zukoff, Marvin Goldstein, George Price, Oscar Baron Württemberg, Peggy Greenwald, Murray Greenwald, Deanie Atlas, Sybil Parnas, Ruth Levitt Friedman, Sidney Schneider, Milton Goodwin, Irene Cantor, Thelma Joels, Louis Berkowitz, Thomas Lipton, Fanny Lerman Zachariah, Wilhelmina Johanna Maria von Beek, Libby Simmons, Edward Ornstein, Bertha Newman, William Bledsoe, Alan Samuel, Theodore Siegel, Edward Cahill, Robert Levine, Charles Weisberg, Ann Weston, Carol Wertenheim, Mary Nyber, Edward Levy, Samuel Franklin, Alexander O'Brien, Bernard Weiskopf, Phil Broadnax, Maud Lewis Heffernan, Michael Hayes Heffernan, Abraham Boguslavsky, Elaine Enoch Siporin, Najla Aswad, Lonnie Falk, and Lois Daniels. Zichronam Livracha. May their memories be for us a blessing as we rise for Kaddish on page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, balma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, b'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru, amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach l'olam ulmei olmaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnasei, v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei d'kudisha b'richu, leila min kol birchata v'shirata, Tushbachata v'nechemata, Damiran bi'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. And let us say, amen. Please join us in our closing song of prayer for peace, Oseh Shalom. Last three words of Kaddish.
Oseh Shalom, Bimromav, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu. V'al kol Yisrael v'imei יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן.
We have come together this Shabbat, each bringing to this sanctuary a private world of hopes, fears, of dreams. Some of us are burdened by anxiety and cares that we all but crash our faith in the future. Others have hearts filled with happiness, grateful for the joys of the past week, yet aware that even the most fortunate are vulnerable before the mystery of tomorrow. Every life is unique, blendings of joys and sorrows, of fulfillment and frustration. Beneath our uniqueness, we are all bound together by a common humanity. All of us most deeply yearn for the blessings of freedom and of peace. Each of us seek the personal liberation of a mind that is not enslaved by conventional wisdom, a heart that is able to love without fear, a spirit that cries yes to the universe. Each of us strives, too, for the inner peace that comes from finding a harmony between aspirations and our own abilities. This is the Shabbat peace to which we aspire. May the peace of this Shabbat inspire us to build a world together of peace for us all. Bruchim atem b'voachem, uvruchim atem b'tzetechem, me'ata v'ad olam. Blessed are you who have come here this day. Blessed be you as you go upon your way. From this time forth and forevermore, may you bless God's holy name. Shabbat shalom, everyone.